I mean, I thought that was a given because he was helming this. Yeah, of course.
I've not seen a spoken terms.
Okay.
But I hope it will be done because it's work. It's a half-baked.
Yeah. Exactly.
And then there's no accountability as well.
Yeah,
I
of
think
course.
that we need to see this through. We do have a policy in this country where we tend to retire academics a bit too early. If you ask me.
Okay.
And
What's the retirement age? I'm not sure
I
for
think it's
academics.
60.
60. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
India is gone at 66. I think.
Okay. Alright. Okay.
And so what happens is that the same academics, they either go back to the same institution and work as a researcher again.
Okay,
which is
go back.
kind of come down.
Yeah.
Your vice chancellor one day and back to research the other day.
Yeah.
Or they go elsewhere, and then you have a big brain drain again.
Yeah,
you know? So I think we need to have more visionary approaches towards this.
Sure. Of course, we need to if we want to leapfrog ahead.
Because the ultimate brains are at the top of the organization.
Yeah, of course. Okay, now Dato', let's move on to your own, experience in the funding area, as an entrepreneur. So now you've been an entrepreneur in the biotech space for what? Is it 9 years now?
Well,
since 2000.
Yeah,
okay.
it is 9 years now.
Okay.
It's 9 years now, and I mean, it's a perennial problem, and I've come to a point where I don't complain anymore because
Don't complain.
it's pointless.
Yeah.
I really believe that risk capital, as you say, in the startup phase before the so-called valley of death, no bank is going to come and fund you. Forget it.
Yeah.
Unless you change the laws and maybe put some bankers in jail. I don't think it's going to happen.
Yeah.
We need to look at the VCs. Our VCs are bankers, which is a big mistake because they think in the same mindset.
Okay.
They think in collateral.
Okay.
They don't think in terms of risk or managing risk. They don't think of building a business. They think about I put in my money. What do I get in return? How do I secure it in the meantime?
Yeah. Especially the government-backed VCs, right? They become even more guarded because this is a public fund, so we have to, the bar has to be higher before we give this to you.
The problem right now is nearly all the money that's there is government linked.
Okay.
The MAVCAP money or the biotech corp money or the entities money is all government.
Yeah.
As far as the really private people putting money in, is very little.
Yeah.
And it's not going to change unless Bank Negara says, okay, let's put money outside the banking system. Let's give it to some entrepreneurs. Let's give it. This is what's happening in the US. None of the VCs that make it are bankers.
Yeah.
Vinod Khosla and Mark Anderson, they're not bankers. They didn't do a day of banking in their life.
Yeah.
They've done very well as VCs because that's what they do. They build businesses.
Yeah.
They judge character. They support a business plan. They can sense gaps, in the whole rainbow that the entrepreneur brings onto them, and they can build collaborations for them. I mean, Google, for example, Sergey and Brin, they couldn't figure out how to make money. It was the VCs that told them how to make the money. So our VCs are very, very, very driven by capital.
Sure. Okay.
And I'm very blunt when I say it, but I think we are vulture capitalists, not venture capitalists.
So you've never received any venture capital at all?
I have.
From where?
That's where I learned.
Okay. Okay.
But you see, the point,
you learned that way then.
Yeah. No, the point I'm trying to make. I'm not against that.
Yeah.
These guys, VC is very important, but I think
absolutely
the way we manage the whole process needs to be relooked at completely because I was about very early in the whole biotech policy thing. I had breakfast with Dato' Iskandar.
Dato' Iskandar Mahmud, CEO Biotech Corp.
And he mentioned for the first time the word ecosystem. So his job was to develop the biotech ecosystem. It hits my scientific background, and I could immediately conjure an image of a lake, a pond, with trees and grass and animals and birds and fish and toads and whatever. And it hit home that immediately that these animals were the companies. And the water was going to be the government policy. Right? And the air there was the funding. Now, if the air is very weak or thin, then the strong animals move out. And the weaker animals learn to live in a very substandard way of life. But the worst thing is, it also allows bigger animals to come in and take over. And my concern right now, with globalization, with the way money moves, is that today money is formless, it's virtual. We're going to lose a lot of good businesses, venture capital wise, to outsiders. And our VCs will then end up managing the bad businesses which need a lot of collateral.
But then some of them say that the good businesses, will always find money anyway. And if you say good businesses will move out, but the VCs on the other hand say they're not enough, especially in the biotech space, very few good deals around. So, but do you see, any interesting things going on among your peers, your competitors in Malaysia that you say, I respect these guys, they're doing something different?
There are a couple of good companies. I mean, for obvious reasons I won't mention names. And there are a couple of good ideas. And some of those ideas won't go anywhere because they're sitting with the wrong people.
Okay.
And some of the ideas are sitting in universities, and because the universities also have a tremendous weak understanding of commercialization.
Okay, of course.
We are not able to get patents from bench to market at all. Not even, there's no time limit, you don't get them at all. I've tried.
Oh, you've tried working in universities, okay.
It doesn't work because we become so hooked up with how much return, how much money do I make,
Yeah.
And every researcher with a patent thinks that he will one day drive a Ferrari.
Yeah.
So we need to look at that. But if there's no air, the good, strong animals move out.
Yeah, sure.
And the remaining animals learn to live in a substandard way. And that was a very strong image in my mind. And so I know, as you just rightly said when you introduced me, it's not a pleasant job to be critical. People don't like it.
Yeah. It needs to be done, though. I think
But we are now in a kind of a not even comfort zone, in a delusional zone. We delude ourselves, saying things are fine, we'll be fine. We got the money, we are the bankers, ringgit, and but Malaysia in real terms is 1,000 of 1,000 for the world economy. And companies need to get out of here, and they need to go global. And to go global, they need capital.
Yeah.
And we've got a lot of innovation capacity here. Maybe because of the oldest rainforest and the nearness of China and India and all those things. But we don't get a fix on this. Then I feel sorry for Dato' Iskandar and team out in Biotech because that's a key thing. The air is missing. You can do all you want with the water, but there's no air. Then these companies won't be in a space.
Okay. Pretty grim prognosis. But do you think also the fact that we don't have any people who have made it, big in biotech, so that there's no splash, no sexy success story, and where a couple of angels have helped them, and then they've become, they've made 20-fold their investment, and that makes more people say, hey,
No, clearly, success breeds success.
Yeah.
But we're back to the same thing again, because we just got ourselves reverse listed in Australia.
Okay.
There's a Singapore company doing it.
Because reverse listed in Australia. Okay. I think that's not very well known yet, right? I think it's been out already a little bit, but
But even that was done by Singapore Merchant Bank.
Merchant Bank Singapore. But you had the choice of using a Malaysian Merchant Bank?
But that's where the problem starts, because we've got systems, we are bureaucratic, we think as bankers, we're not responding to market needs. I know I'm not very popular with people when I say this. I 50 years ago, the number one economy in Asia was Burma. It was Burmese rice, Burmese tea, Burmese shell. Where are they today? And Singapore didn't exist as a country. Where are they today? The number two economy in Asia was the Philippines. They were practically an American colony. Where are they today? So it's government policy, it's direction. And the world doesn't wait for us. And on the other hand, look at Singapore. They are 50 years, and the average Singaporean who's retiring this year has sung 4 national anthems in 4 different languages.
4 national anthems.
But they've adapted to the change. And that's the critical thing, is adaptability, responding to a changing environment. Darwin's
we
right.
need to do.
The fittest will survive.
The fittest will survive. We need to do that. Okay. There's a lot to go. I know a lot of what you spoke about was also in your article that you wrote, 2 weeks ago in See Your Laptop. But okay, great. Thanks a lot for sharing then, Dr. Rajan. And wish you all the success in your, now that your business is in Australia also. That looks.
Yeah, everybody says that.
Yeah.
Every time you make a thing, I mean, nobody knows what's going to happen. I mean, the one that drives me is fear.
Fear.
Because if I
just
don't
like
do it,
Intel's Andy Grove says, only the paranoid survive.
If you don't, because if you don't think of the next step, people will figure out what's the
Yeah.
People say good luck. I said, look, tell me this after 3 years.
After
they come, I said, tell me after 5 years whether they survive this or not.
Yeah, excellent.
Okay.
Anyway, that's all we have for the show this week. I would like to thank Dr. Rajan again, CEO of Holista Calltech Limited, for appearing on the show, and we'll be back next week again with another show. And meantime, all of you have a great and a productive week ahead with technology, and we'll see you next week.